Hey guys, my name is Shelton, or Angry Platypus, and we're playing some Diablo 3. So I got my level 30 demon hunter called Lavia, or whatever, I don't really know. She's pretty beast character, does about, I don't know, 390 DPS, damage per second. So I'm just going to be going over a couple of tips for Diablo noobs, and things that when you get a little bit more experienced, you should be doing or going over, especially in multiplayer. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be going over, and this is one of the most important strategies in Diablo, is something called the shuriken. This is a right-clicking skill that you unlock relatively early in the game. So you go to your skills, and then you go to secondary, and you get chakram. Not shuriken, chakram, but similar. You unlock this relatively early after, when you unlock the game, when you get this pretty early. Gosh, I'm sorry guys, I'm sucking right now. But what I like to do on this is twin chakram. Now I haven't unlocked a ton of these, but so far twin chakram is pretty awesome, especially when you're facing a lot of enemies. So let's go try and find some enemies. Oh, there we go. So we're gonna go over here and see how much damage they do. Like, just look at these, they wreck. So the next trick I'm gonna do is Caltrops. Okay, so check this out. Caltrops essentially stop your enemies. So these enemies are pursuing me, and I'm gonna hurt them. And see how they're all stopped? This is great, especially for boss fights. Like, she's gonna come towards me. See? Now she's snared. And I can get her easily with my chakram, or just with my normal attack, like this. That is super well, especially for big, heavy bosses or any other enemy. Like, see, especially if there was a huge group of people coming, like all those guys, you just stop them with your caltrop and then easily dispatch them. Okay, the next trick I'm going to be going over is basically for the demon hunter only. I see a ton of people, especially online, using the demon hunter class because it's good, but they're not using it to its full potential. See all these down here? Caltrops. Now, we already went over that. Great! And it doesn't take up a lot of discipline. You could probably put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A ton of Caltrops down. And see, if a huge boss was coming at me, I could just chakram, move on to the next Caltrop, chakram. Easy peasy. And people don't use that much. So something else that I see people don't using is all of these other skills. Like, see, Vault, for me that's 2, but you can make it so that it's WASD or whatever hotkey you want. So 2, you move around. It takes up a lot of discipline, but it can get you out of some very sticky situations, especially with bosses, how they'll have maybe like an area of attack for what attack they're going to do. And if they choose it based on where you are, after they choose it and you see a little ring, most of the time you couldn't run away. But if you're a demon hunter, wow, just like that. And there's also a rune that I'm using right now, is so that when you vault, you fire at nearby enemies. You can also do a couple of runes on this that allow you to either stun enemies when you hit them, and that's also very useful, especially for hordes of enemies, when you just like go through a horde real quick to try and avoid them or get out of a corner. They're all stunned now, so you can easily use your chakram or your normal attack to do that quite easily. The next thing I'm going to show you is use of potions. Now, I see so many people, and they use their potions willy-nilly when they're just about to get hit. So I'm going to take some damage here. Now, see, look, I'm not going to use my potion now, I am. See? Right when I'm about to die. And I might actually die here, because that's going to suck. Oh, running away. See, now I'm going to use my chakrams, but I don't have the discipline yet. See, look at that. Look at that. Now, what once was a death situation, now is getting taken easily by me. Now, I just use my discipline, and I use my chakrams wisely. See, that guy's done. Now we got a rare axe. Look at that, guys. And a lot of these guys drop health orbs. Also, if you're in a big battle, don't take health orbs, because unless you're really hurt, you're just going to take it away from your teammates, or you're going to waste it, and when you get actually hurt, you're going to need it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to go over is attack speed and damage per second versus protection. Now, for a Demon Hunter class, you don't have a ton of life. Barbarians have way more, so do Witch Doctors. I mean, you just don't have that much life because you're range-based. And range-based normally doesn't encounter that much damage. So, often, you're gonna want to go solely for power and for killing power. And while this is good for normal, especially in hardcore, this is just not the way you want to go. For any class. See this shield right here? This is a tower shield. Now, it is minusing 72 DPS. That is a ton. Now, because this is a normal difficulty character, I am not going to use this. I mean, it's just not worth the damage loss. But for hardcore, or for noobs, or people who aren't very good, or who don't have very quick reflexes, this is a huge, huge help. Because it increases my block chance exponentially. And it also has a huge add to my percentage. Do you see that? 5.2%. That is a ton. Like, people don't realize how much that actually is until you actually try to use a shield and then you realize how much less damage you take. Yeah, also, always go for life over small amounts of protection. Like, let me find something here. Assume that this Doom Brace had more protection, like a lot more than I have on my Horizon Ruin, my pants that I'm wearing right now, but it had less life. Life is essentially better than protection, because what it does is if there's a health orb, but you're really low, you can take more health orbs and take more damage. It's also better than protection, because if you can take more damage, it doesn't matter if you're protected from that damage. If I have infinite amounts of health, I'm never gonna die. But I have infinite amounts of protection, I'm still gonna die eventually. And especially in hardcore, this is a really useful tip. Always go for protection over damage, unless you're already a well-established character. Like, let me find something. See? Plus 273 life. Assuming that this didn't take away so much from my damage and I was in hardcore, I would change these bracers in a second. Like, look at how much more life that has. I only have 3,000 life. 200, that's a big percentage. Like, people don't realize because it's only 200 out of 3,000. But no, that's pretty big. That's a big deal. Same thing with this sword. Now, obviously, because I'm a Demon Hunter and I use range, I wouldn't use this. But hey, if you're a barbarian and you come across a sword that maybe doesn't do quite as much damage, but it has a ton of life or a ton of protection, go for it. Go for it. It's a big deal. Also, if you have socketed armor or equipment or weapons or whatever, it doesn't really matter what you put into it at first. Because, see these chipped emeralds, these chipped rubies, whatever, chipped gems can be taken out of this. It's going to cost you a little bit of money, but you pick up money pretty quick in this game. I mean, I haven't even tried to get money, and I have 48,000. I also have a huge stash, so that takes away 10 grand pop. But anyway, just take it out when you're done. Like, because if I'm in the middle of the battle, and these pants are slightly worse than whatever I was wearing before, but if I put stones into them, they're going to be much better, it's definitely what I'm going to do. Even if the stones aren't exactly what I want, I can always take them out, then combine these chipped emeralds into a better gem, like one of these, a flawed emerald, put it in, perfect. It just makes everything so much better. Also, don't be afraid to let go of rare items, or items that you somehow cherish. Even if you have an item for the whole game, and it's really good, the second you get a better item, that's better in every way, and that your old item somehow isn't good other than aesthetic value, get rid of it. Like, this is a game where you try and get good, and you try and beat it. And you try and do it on really hard difficulty sometimes. After I beat the game on normal, I'm raising my difficulty. I'll probably start some hardcore characters, because that's what's fun for me. Maybe not for you, maybe you want to keep the same item, and that's fine. But I would always go for better items versus items that I've had for a longer time. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. This is episode 1 of Diablo 3 Tricks and Tips. Thanks a lot, and hope you learned something. See you later. Bye.